This is Thursday, June the 5th, 2025, current time 6:43 in the p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Honestly, I haven't even cranked up the computer since Tesla's earnings day. I went over several different price points, but the gist of it is, whenever I went over before earnings, the potentials or algorithmic goals, if it happened to come down to 198, there's algorithms that would definitely bought into it there. 25% levels here, that kind of is what made support, I guess, and then it bounced up from there. I was thinking potential resistance was at 305-ish, 306, something around in there. Just because that's what the Fibonacci scale showed for earnings. I wasn't thinking, go ahead and add 161.8% level in and see what, less and less algorithms will be buying into it at. But anyway, the 161.8% level is pretty spot on, I think, if I'm not mistaken. If she'll zoom. Yeah, 369.51 is what I had for a whole lot of algorithms would be less likely to buy into it, and the high was 368.30. So, I mean, really damn close. And then today, of course, it dumped. I'm sure people will think that, because Elon is beefing with the president or whatever, that, that has something to do with it. I think it's just like, an excuse to let it, fall from that 161.8% level. And then the gravitational point from earnings, which I got so many damn levels up now, I forget what is what. I have to zoom out further. The 50% level from where I mapped it off was roughly at 250. So that's the actual gravitational point from earnings. Like the way that I look at that is 250 is where many algorithms bought into it at, thinking that that's your make it or break it level, that's your flip a coin area at earnings time. So since that's your since it went significantly above that, and then the shorts have been piling on ever since 161.8% level, or at least the algorithms have been selling it off very heavily, which shows today, then typically, like, they won't know, the ones that shorted the first attempt down here, that they will not short as much unless if conditions just happen to be right to keep on holding on to the short position. But if it shows like a whole lot of buy volume in that area, then they'll close their short positions. What happens is whenever they close their short positions, then longs pile in and force it to go up. That's why the markets go up and down every day. It's because algorithms buy into and sell into at different major levels. And I'm not saying that I'm going to be accurate in that guess, but that is what I showed before, and many times it is accurate. I know last time when I went over this, I said that 304 can possibly be resistance for that earnings, and it barely tried to even make some support today, because previous resistance can become support, and previous support can become resistance. That's how it goes many times. But today it didn't even try to stay in that area of 304. It just kept on cracking down. But whenever earnings did come out, it smashed past that 250. It never did even play with that level much at all. So typically, especially if you don't see it play with much at all, then I don't want to toot my own horn or nothing, but many times, like, if it played with that level before, like, hovered around it, played with it, and, just stayed like stagnant all day long or for several days in that 50% level, then, you really don't know what to do, because no algorithm is picking an actual direction. But since it didn't even play with that level before, if that does make perfect support, whatever I said, 250. I'd hate to try to be all precise and stuff. Let's be extremely precise. 250, 87 ish to 250, 53. If that makes some support, then you'll know that what I believe in is still functioning in the markets. And it's really simple how I do it too. And I think it's one of the most simple things you can do. But I think the other day too, I know on here it doesn't show it. No, it will show it on here. What am I thinking? I do like it, like on the desktop version, because it shows yellow and green and red candles. But I think the other day, no, it's not showing it on here. There's one day where it made more of a Fibonacci. I think it's here. Where it made more of a Fibonacci, or not a Fibonacci, but a doji candle. And usually that means a reversal or potential reversal. Potential reversal started at 528 on here. Then again on 520, 521. These are all mostly sell volumes. That's just sell. So, it's impossible to, beat to go up whenever you're in a sell position. And my other level down here, my trend indicator showed that it was more or less in a potential downward move. And today was the worst one of all, of course. And on the day you've had, this shows up as of right now, 77% sell volume. RSI of 37.55 on a daily. So that's, algorithmically that's better. But, basing the trade off any of this is more difficult in my opinion, because if you look at just previous supports and resistance from, doing this a whole lot, it don't matter if it's Tesla or Sony or Take-Two or Microsoft or Meta or whatever. Nvidia, it's worked in the past, not so much here lately. But if you have faith in something, then it shows through, and I have more faith in a potential long, or at least many algorithms should exit or start exiting their short position around 250. So that's my 2 cents. Take it for what it's worth. Hope you're happy, healthy, and well, and I'll talk to you later.